Tonight, the BC Conservative Party has unveiled its plans for education. Plus, a profile on MLA candidate for the BC Conservatives, Rosalyn Bird. And the Chamber of Commerce is concerned with the new federal policy restricting international students and its impacts it will have on northern BC's economy. Good evening, folks. I'm Eddie Huband, and welcome to CKPG News. Our top story tonight is a follow-up on a story we ran yesterday about the Urgent and Primary Care Centre in Prince George. CKPG News has received a statement from Northern Health. Yesterday, we reported that the future of the Parkwood Mall might be closing. Today, Northern Health has issued the following statement. The Prince George Urgent and Primary Care Centre will remain open. Northern Health is aware that on October 9th, 2024, the members of the Nechako Medical Clinic voted to cease providing physician staffing to the Prince George Urgent and Primary Care Centre. Northern Health is currently reviewing alternate compensation models to ensure continuity of services and will provide more information at a further date. In politics, the Conservative Party of BC has released its plans to reshape our education system. If elected, the Conservatives say there will be widespread changes, such as reintroducing letter grades and report cards and replacing SOGI 123 learning materials. Tommy Osborne has more on the planned changes and the BC NDP's response.
The BC Conservatives unveiled its plan to reshape the province's education system, and if elected, big changes could be on the way. Some of the changes include bringing back standardized provincial exams for grades 10 and 12 and the return of letter grades for grades 4 to 9. The Conservatives say this is about accountability and setting standards, but the NDP say this is a backwards move that could cause more harm than good.
Bringing back letter grades is for whom? Is it for students? Is it for teachers? Is it for parents? I don't think so. Everyone wants students to succeed. And by having letter grades, I don't think that's the way to support students best.
The Conservatives believe these changes are needed since student performance has dropped, as BC used to lead the country in math scores, but now educational performance is below the national average. McCrory says it's important to consider that COVID had a noticeable impact on student performance, and she believes the current NDP approach meets students where they are and offers the best way to get performance back up.
They're looking at incentivizing recruitment of teachers. We need to ensure that students' needs are met, and so what we're looking at doing better is putting an education assistant in every classroom from kindergarten to grade 3.
Arguably the biggest change in the Conservatives' plan is replacing SOGI 123 with anti-bullying and zero-tolerance programs instead, as the Conservatives say that classrooms are a place of learning, not ideology, and believe that SOGI 123 is dangerous activist ideology and that parents are tired of having it taught to their children in classrooms. However, the BC NDP and McCrory say that replacing SOGI 123 and losing that would be a big blow towards helping students feel like they belong in schools.
SOGI is resource-based, it's not curriculum-based, and I think what it does is it gives tools for teachers to use so that every student feels like they belong.
CKPG News reached out to several Conservative candidates but did not hear back. Tommy Osborne, CKPG News.
Rosalyn Bird was announced as the Conservative Party of BC candidate for Prince George Valemount back in November of 2023. Bird says after seeing what's happening in BC, she decided to run and wants a government that's transparent and responsible. Anna Burrell spoke with Bird about her campaign and brings us this next story.
Rosalyn Bird is running for the Conservative Party in the riding of Prince George Valemount. She previously had a 23-year career in the Canadian Armed Forces and says that her experience in the forces will benefit her if elected as MLA.
I retired as a logistics officer in 2012. So it brings me a lot of skills that I think that will be a benefit as an MLA, critical thinking, problem solving, the actual mechanism of logistics, which is moving people and things around a province, solving problems. So these are all things that I know I have the skills to do, and I believe will benefit the residents of this riding.
The riding of Prince George Valemount is geographically massive, encompassing an area of over 31,000 kilometers, which means that there will be a lot of area to cover, and that can present challenges.
It's a matter of actually being participatory in those communities. So visiting, listening, meeting with residents, meeting with mayor and council, and really understanding what those concerns are and addressing them at a level that they feel like they're being well represented and that somebody does actually care about them outside of the general Prince George area.
Having been the party's candidate since last November, Bird has had a lot of time to go out and speak to people in the riding to find out what is concerning them the most.
Everybody is talking about healthcare, and it's something that impacts every single resident from, child to senior. So that is something that our party is very passionate about improving and putting money towards. The conversations I've had with people have been tremendous. The people in this area have good ideas. They have solid ideas, and that type of participatory government needs to be brought back.
Polling places are open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Saturday, October 19th. Adam Burrows, CKPG News.
Posts on X have emerged which appear to show a BC Green Party candidate questioning the events of 9/11. Douglas Gook, Green Party candidate for Nechako Lakes, tweeted back on December 20th, 2014 that the 9/11 incidents are lies. In a statement, BC NDP candidate for Nechako Lakes, Murphy Abraham, says conspiracies like calling 9/11 an inside job are both bizarre and dangerous. CKPG News reached out to the Green Party and Douglas Gook, but did not receive a reply. And a quick note to our viewers, we will have live coverage of the provincial election right here on CKPG TV from 8 to 10 p.m. on Saturday night. Myself, along with Caden Fanshaw, will be in studio, along with political analyst Chris Beach and former MLA Pat Bell. We will also have up to the minute results and analysis, along with our team in the field providing on-location interviews with candidates across the region. Make sure to tune in to CKPG TV on Saturday night for all your local election coverage. The federal government has introduced new legislation that will restrict international students gaining work permits, and both the Faculty Association at CNC and the Chamber of Commerce are sounding the alarm bells. The changes pertain to graduating students looking for work in their chosen fields, but the impacts may be felt close to home. Cheryl Jan reports.
If you're an international student graduating from a college, such as the College of New Caledonia, and hope to work in whatever field you choose, it will require a few extra steps than if you were graduating from a program at a university.
I think they're going to be targeting very narrowly the international students who can apply for study permits, and that's going to potentially really negatively impact programming at colleges.
There are roughly 300 faculty members at the College of New Caledonia, taking into consideration all its campuses. And Marta Tejero says the impacts of this move could be very detrimental to programming at the college and, by extension, faculty.
Program suspensions would impact the North really negatively. CNC is a community college that supports, the labor market in the North, and the federal government has the potential to really impact that.
In the meantime, the national body for the Canadian Chambers of Commerce are sounding the alarm at their annual general meeting about what this could potentially mean for Canada's labour market.
The workforce challenges that rural employers face, right, is you have economies of scale working in larger centres where you've got a bigger population to draw on to fill your vacant positions. That's not the case, and of course it's not just Prince George. It's again your Vanderhoofs, your Quinnells, your Mackenzies, is how are you filling those positions?
Immigration has been identified time and again as one solution to the ongoing demands for certain professions in the labour force. Tejero is meeting with her provincial peers this week, and Ottawa's latest move will be top of mind.
The federal government is targeting, I think, colleges, public post-secondary colleges versus universities, a kind of elitism there that shouldn't be there.
But Neil Godbout says the concerns go beyond just colleges and universities.
The optics around these federal government restrictions is international students exist in a global marketplace, right? And so as soon as there's a buzz in the international student community that Canada's imposing new restrictions on international students, suddenly it all goes cold.
The Canadian Chamber of Commerce will be voting on 3 resolutions related to this issue this week. Cheryl Jan, CKPG News.
A little municipal news now. Parking regulations in the hospital zone near UHNBC will undergo changes as part of a strategy to address on-street parking on-street parking challenges, and that will start today. As part of the proposed changes, 2-hour free parking will remain in areas immediately surrounding key medical facilities affected by construction of the new parkade, including UHNBC, the Northern Interior Health Unit, and others. In addition to the continued availability of free parking, the city is introducing paid parking in the remaining streets within the hospital zones using the Hotspot parking app. Individuals will be able to pay $1 per hour or $7 for an entire day.
The City of Prince George has done this in response to requests from Northern Health, and it was also done in an effort to improve things for everyone in and around the hospital during the construction. So what we've done essentially is we've put in a pay parking option for those people who want to park longer than the 2-hour limit that was in place all around the hospital. So we left Allward Street and all the streets immediately around the hospital alone because we recognize that some people will struggle with the use of a smartphone, with the use of a QR code. So there's absolutely no pay parking on those streets immediately around the hospital.
Charlotte Peters also mentioned that when it comes to residential addresses in the area, if a homeowner has a tenant parked outside their house in the area where pay parking is in effect, they do have the option to buy a permit, which will expire at the end of 2025 for $20. A parking ticket would cost $50. Signs have been posted to notify drivers where the pay parking area is in effect. A detailed map illustrating the 2-hour free parking areas and the new hotspot pay parking zones is available for viewing on our website. The Exploration Place is in the midst of launching a new display aimed for kids. The display currently set up at the Exploration Place has been in place for years, but that's about to change. By the new year, there will be a new permanent display instead. The STEAM Interactive Gallery will focus on science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, hence the name STEAM. The display is largely funded by the YP Young Foundation, and it addresses an identified need.
Yeah, we're really excited. It doesn't have an official name yet. We've just been working with the YP Young Foundation and they've just sponsored part of this exhibit. It'll focus on hands-on STEAM. So we've been listening to the feedback that we've been getting since we reopened, and we're hearing parents saying that they're unhappy with the lack of hands-on fixtures that we have since removing the children's gallery. So this is a direct response to that feedback and we're really excited about it. You're gonna walk in, it's gonna be filled with, space fixtures hanging from the ceiling. It's gonna be a dark, fun environment, and then there's going to be a lot of light up, hands-on STEAM fixtures for kids. Some surprises in store. We're still looking for a few sponsors for some extra exhibit fixtures that we're wanting to include, but it's going to look really, really fun. A totally different atmosphere than what it is right now.
The lowest gas price in Prince George is currently sitting at $1.54.9 per litre at Costco. The lowest price in the province currently is in Surrey at $1.50.9 per litre. Manitoba has the lowest fuel prices on average in the country at $1.36.7 per litre, while BC has an average price of $1.69.6 per litre.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Join the Domino's Lunch Club with 25% off all regular price pizzas every day. Visit dominos.ca to join the club.
The Prince George Cougars continue their Alberta road trip tonight, taking on the Medicine Hat Tigers. The Cats have been in a bit of a slump of late. They dropped 4 of their last 5 games, including a 5-0 shutout loss to Calgary on Monday. Borje Vallis will look to continue his hot start to the year. He has 15 points already on this young campaign. Captain Riley Height, meanwhile, will look to bounce back from a tough game on Monday, where he was a -3 with 12 penalty minutes. Puck drop for this one goes at 6 p.m. And the CHL rankings are out for Week 3 of the season, and despite Prince George slumping of late, they still somehow rank 3rd in the CHL. The return of star forward Cohen Zemer has no doubt boosted the Cougars' ranking. Interestingly, their opponent tonight, the Medicine Hat Tigers, they also made the top 10 list, coming in at the 5th spot, so it should be a great matchup this evening. Also from the WHL, making the cut is the Everett Silver Tips. They come in at 10th in the weekly rankings. And still to come, the pressure is mounting on Israel to allow aid into Gaza. The TSX is up 122 points to close at 24,561. The Dow Jones is up 337 points to close at 43,078. And Canfor went down 21 cents to close at $17.14.
Looking at a mostly cloudy evening ahead for the Prince George area. Very strong chance of showers that should ease off as we get into the overnight period. However, it is going to be relatively cool tonight as well, with the expectation of that overnight low being right around 0. So yes, it is going to feel quite chilly tonight. Here's our futurecast over the next 48 hours. Plenty to talk about here in terms of precipitation. So Thursday, we are expecting that strong chance of showers to build in, especially as you get into the afternoon. And you can watch here by the time Friday rolls around. Friday is where we're looking at periods of rain. That's so it's expected to be a relatively wet day Friday. So yes, there it is, Thursday afternoon, and then Friday hits. Yes, so Prince George area looking at some rainy, cloudy conditions over the next couple of days here. Here's our highs tomorrow across the rest of the province. Valemount with a high of just 5 degrees, really cooling off there. Prince George also seeing some cooling. Tomorrow's high just around 8 degrees. Terrace, very similar conditions as well. Already starting to see that precipitation building in for tomorrow. Southern interior also looking at a cooler, cloudy, potentially wet day ahead. Highs tomorrow across the rest of the broadcast region. Mackenzie area with a high of just 8 degrees. Mix of sun and cloud to start off the day before that wet weather builds back in. Fort St. James a little bit warmer at 9. Vanderhoof and Burns Lake both looking at identical highs of just 8 degrees for tomorrow. Quesnel a little bit warmer at 9. And McBride, of course, a little bit cooler at around 7 degrees for tomorrow. Across the rest of the country, Yellowknife cooling off with just a high of 4 degrees, possibly getting some flurries tomorrow. Edmonton still relatively sunny, but again seeing some cooling at around 10. Regina getting some wet weather with a high of about 13. Winnipeg, though, still a little bit warm and sunny as you get a little bit further east. That will continue for the Montreal and Toronto areas, and actually even as you get out towards the Maritimes. Halifax looking at a high of 13 and some sunshine in the forecast. Periods of rain, yes, is the expectation as we get into the second half of Thursday, looking at some rain showers building in, and that rain is expected to kind of make landfall really throughout the day on Friday for the Prince George area. So definitely keep that in mind. Taking a look at our extended forecast. Thursday in the Burns Lake area, mix of sun and cloud. Again, that chance of showers, though, building in as the day gets on. A little bit cooler as well, in particular for that overnight low Thursday evening. Friday looks a little bit cool. Very strong chance of potentially some morning flurries, depending on how cool that overnight low gets into the early morning hours of Friday. Cloudy conditions throughout the rest of the day Friday. Mackenzie area, mix of sun and cloud, but that cloud cover is expected to build in as the day gets on tomorrow. A little bit cooler, even cooling down more as Friday kicks in. So Friday has a high of just 5 degrees. Looking at some precipitation early on in the day. That should continue as you get into the afternoon as well, with mostly cloudy conditions. McBride area looking at a wet, cloudy and cool rest of the week ahead for the second half of this week. So yes, showers this evening continuing into our Thursday as well. Friday, look at that, a high of just 7 degrees, potentially looking at some potentially icy showers for Friday. So keep that in mind if you're heading out on the roadways. Quesnel area looking at a good chance of some morning showers, maybe getting a bit of a break in the day, but that chance of showers is returning again throughout Thursday and Friday, expecting periods of rain throughout the day. Prince George now, tomorrow looking at a mix of sun and cloud at some points, but that chance of showers is expected to build back in. And by the time Friday rolls around, we're looking at periods of rainfall and some cooler daytime temperatures.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Join the Domino's Lunch Club with 25% off all regular price pizzas every day. Visit domino's.ca to join the club.
The League Championship Series continue in the MLB as the Yankees continue to get closer to the World Series. That and the Toronto Raptors hit their home court for the first time this NBA preseason. It's all here in tonight's CKP3.
All rise for Aaron Judge.
Sends one high and deep to center field. Did he get it? Back on it is Thomas. He's at the wall. He got it. It's a 2-run home run.
It took a bit longer than expected, but Judge finally recorded his first home run of the postseason. His 2-run homer gave the Yankees more of a cushion to work with as they held on to maintain their 6-3 win over the Guardians. And the Yankees are now just 2 wins away from the World Series. just a little bit further up north, the Raptors were also in action.
Now to Grady, 2-on-1. Grady!
Grady Dick impressed in his first preseason game in Toronto of the year, and the Raptors have to love what he's showing. His 27 points led the team as he showed off a strong finish and impressive playmaking. If the Raptors want to surprise the league this year, they'll need Dick to emerge as a leader alongside Scotty Barnes. While Dick impressed, the game-winning play went to Brandon Carlson.
Now on him. Walsh attacking. Shot doesn't go.
After the Raptors hit 2 free throws for the lead, the Celtics had the ball in their hands and a chance to win it. But Carlson came in with a clutch block to secure a Toronto victory. And while it's just the preseason, a win over the champs is always nice. In tonight's CKP3.
And that's all for tonight, folks. Thanks for joining us as always. Caden Fanshaw, he's up next with the Today Show, and Adam Burles with our 6:30 broadcast. And remember, Prince George, as the great Optimus Prime once said, we can be heroes in our own lives, every one of us. Have a great night.